we start first of all with the calorie expert. That's our dear friend Horsky. Gil, what are you doing, and especially what makes you a calorie expert?
Yeah, being a calorie expert sounds a bit challenging, but hi everybody, I'm Horsky. I've done my career in the food industry, worked for many years in Pepsi and Mondelez, led their corporate venture arm, and then a few years ago set up my own fund that invests into food and agriculture. And one of the areas that I'm very interested in, that I'm believing is disruptive, is connected to calories. We've all been hearing in the last few years about the revolution of GLP-1 in Ozmpic and the pharmaceutical weight loss phenomena that is going around the world. I mean, for even a short while, Novo Nordisk was the biggest public company in Europe, given their really blockbuster products. But what's really interesting about the weight management topic that people don't talk a lot about is that actually, first of all, we all know weight is a byproduct of nutrition and food mainly. But second, today the pharmaceutical industry is really finding a solution to help people lose weight. But the problem is once you go off these Ozempic medications, you actually gain it back very quickly. It's called kind of the GLP hangover effect or boomerang effect. And that's a huge opportunity for the food industry today to address that. There are some companies starting to do that. Of course, the best way to address it is just to eat healthy food. But unfortunately, it seems like we all as human beings are being challenged, having a hard time doing that. But there's really a big opportunity for the food industry in the axis of food and pharma. And it's a space that is very interesting. We heard an article, kind of a lecture earlier about biotech. And a lot of us are talking about this space as food as medicine, which is a really a very exciting space that I'm personally very interested in.
Yeah, we already got at the beginning. So biotech is one of the key areas that we need in order to solve a lot of problems in the food industry. And also thanks for the little, how to say, introduction concerning beer, because that's also my home turf, to be honest. But biotech is something that humanity is using since ages, since thousands, hundreds of years already.
And I think I'll just add one more sentence about it. You know, it's interesting when you hear people in the pharmaceutical or medicine industry, etc., medical healthcare, you know, the whole healthcare system globally has been built around curing people, right? We become sick and we find out what's the problem, and then hopefully, you know, pharmaceutical solution, medical devices are going to cure us. But what's interesting, if you go today and you become a doctor, and I don't know if there are any doctors here in the audience, most doctors around the world have one course in their entire medical education about food and nutrition. Now, the flip side of it, that when you look at the number one cause of death and disease, it's always scientifically proven connected to food and nutrition. So actually, there is a big gap there, and food and nutrition is probably the industry that can have the biggest impact of prevention. So no need to get cured, we can actually prevent you from becoming sick. And that's a topic that I think only in the last few years people are starting to realize that more. And you also see investors and entrepreneurs shifting away from the pharma, healthcare industry and starting to understand that if they start playing in the prevention, that's actually in the space of nutrition and food.